या आपो दिव्या उत वा स्रवन्ति खनित्रिमा उत वा या स्वयंजः समुद्रार्था याः शुचयः पावकास्ता आपो देवीरिः मामवन्तु।
May the waters that descend from the sky or from the top of glaciers, which are derived from the earth by digging, or which have been bestowed on us in the form of lakes and springs, those that flow towards the oceans, and the ones which are themselves all pure and purifying, may those divine waters protect, nourish, and bless us. Irrigation in India can be traced back to prehistoric times. The Vedas and ancient Indian scriptures make references to wells, canals, tanks, and dams. Great civilizations flourished on the banks of mighty rivers, with water harnessed for sustenance of life. Indians practiced the art of raising crops by artificial irrigation as early as the 4th millennium. In the 2nd century, the construction of the Grand Anicut by the Chola kings in southern India provided irrigation to the parched lands of the Kaveri Delta. During the early British period, a host of irrigation projects were completed, which included the Western and Eastern Yamuna canals, Upper Ganga Canal, Godavari and Krishna Delta projects. This period also coincided with the building of large masonry dams to feed canal systems, a relatively new field during those years. Leading up to the 1950s, many mega projects like Krishna Sagar project in Mysore, the Nizam Sagar project in Andhra Pradesh, and Kaveri Mettur project in Tamil Nadu were constructed. Thousands of minor irrigation works spread all over the country were also undertaken, covering almost 2/3 of total irrigated area.
India has a long history of irrigation development with references of irrigation structures in the early civilizations. These flourished on the banks of rivers and water was harnessed for sustenance of life. The Grand Anicut on river Kaveri, constructed by the kings of the early Chola dynasty in 2nd century AD, is probably the oldest irrigation system in the world that is still functional and provides irrigation to vast areas of the Kaveri Delta in conjunction with the Mettur Dam, which was constructed in the early 20th century. Development of irrigation as a state activity gathered momentum after India's independence, and sizable areas of the country have been brought under irrigation since then.
During the plan period, rapid harnessing of water resources became a prime objective. Severe spatial and temporal variations in rainfall prompted the creation of storages in successive 5-year plans. A large number of projects, many of them multi-purpose, comprising dams, barrages and hydropower structures were undertaken. Bhakra Nangal on river Satluj, Hirakud on river Mahanadi, Nagarjuna Sagar on river Krishna and Sardar Sarovar on river Narmada greatly enhanced agricultural output through irrigation. These mega projects ushered in a new wave of prosperity through the development of hydropower and the boosting of drinking water and industrial water supplies. More than 4,700 large dams have been completed in the country, resulting in live storage of 225 billion cubic meters. Other projects having storages of 63 BCM are under various stages of construction. The storages developed for irrigation and power also help in providing flood protection to large areas. A network of inflow forecasting stations have been established, which provide forecasts of inflows into reservoirs to help in their proper operation. 147 river flood forecasting stations provide river level forecasts to help plan flood disaster mitigation measures and prevent loss of human lives and movable assets in flood-prone areas.
When India became independent in 1947, it had to feed a population of 350 million. For feeding the population, India had to depend on import of food grain. In order to become self-sufficient in food grain, massive program for irrigation development was launched in the country and large number of irrigation projects were taken up. As a result of these projects, India became self-sufficient in food grain and also resorted to export of food grain to needy countries. When our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, visited Bhakra Nangal project, he called it the modern temple of India. Many other irrigation projects have also been taken up to further increase the food production. A flagship program called Accelerated Irrigation Benefit Program has been launched by the government to support irrigation projects in the country. In addition to the Accelerated Irrigation Benefit Program, a program for repair, renovation and restoration of water bodies and another program for flood protection and drainage development has also been taken up. In order to develop command area and for supporting the on-farm work, another program called Command Area Development Program has also been launched.
Thanks to the development of irrigation facilities, the country has taken tremendous strides in the agricultural sector, which earlier had to depend upon imports to feed even a population of 350 million at the time of independence in 1947. It has now attained a position of self-sufficiency with some exportable surplus, even with a population of over 1 billion. Agriculture provides livelihood to nearly 2/3 of our population, and irrigated agriculture has played a pivotal role in poverty alleviation, rural development, and drought mitigation. For better utilization and equitable distribution of irrigation water, the concept of farmers' participation in irrigation water management is being promoted in the country. More than 56,000 water user associations are functioning, which cover an irrigated area of over 13 million hectares in 18 states. Groundwater resources have also been extensively utilized for providing irrigation facilities, catering to about 60% of total irrigation coverage in the country. Long-distance inter-basin transfer of water has been practiced in India for a long time. Bhakra Beas system, including Indira Gandhi Canal, have brought prosperity to the desert areas. Inter-basin water transfers from other surplus basins to deficit basins are also being considered. As a case in point, irrigation facilities provided by the Indira Gandhi Canal, which brings water from River Satluj from a distance of 650 kilometers, has transformed vast stretches of inhospitable Thar desert into a food basket of India. This not only led to the taming of the desert, but also the resettling of landless farmers from weaker sections of society. The farmers benefited immensely as they got access to assured drinking water near their habitations, which otherwise had to be fetched from miles away. The water-starved areas of Saurashtra have also benefited by long-distance transfer of water from Sardar Sarovar Dam. Excessive use of irrigation water has also led to problems of waterlogging and soil salinization in some canal commands, which in the long term affects crop and land productivity. To reclaim these lands, modern drainage technology of subsurface drainage has been executed in several canal commands. The existing irrigation infrastructure is gradually being modernized and new technologies are being introduced. Spectacular progress has been achieved in adoption of water-saving irrigation technologies like sprinkler and micro-irrigation. Today, sprinkler irrigation is used on over 2 million hectares and micro-irrigation on more than 1 million hectares.
Water sustains life. It is the lifeline of civilization. Though a natural resource, it is not inexhaustible. Over the years, there has been tremendous increase in the demand for water. With the increase in population, there is concomitant question of urbanization, industrialization, etc. And it is estimated that by the year 2050, when our population would touch 1.5 billion mark, we would need 400 million tons of food grains. And obviously for that, the irrigation has to be stepped up. And in view of the demand that there would be on water, it is imperative that we start devising strategies for its judicious use, and all our systems in this regard are sustainable. The Government of India is engaged in promoting efficient use of water through various policies, but what is needed is indeed the participation, the total involvement of people at all levels, of the civil society, of the Gram Panchayats, and of every single person. And I would in fact request everyone in the country to join us in this gigantic endeavor.
Harnessing water resources of the country to the maximum possible extent is the only way to sustain our self-sufficiency and the basic requirement of food and fiber. Today, the country is poised to face the emerging challenges of improving irrigation efficiency, increasing crop productivity, and tackling adverse impacts of climate change for achieving sustainable development.